Hello and welcome to my channel again. In today's episode, we will look into how we can convert a complex ABAP report into RAPO data. There are times when I have seen many people struggling to convert the report, and sometimes the customer wants everything on Fiori Launchpad. So generally, I have seen people actually going and creating a SE38 report transaction out of it and then actually exposing that as a GUI transaction on Fiori Launchpad. Sometimes even the report that they want would be very, very complex, right? Which they might have already built in, you might have already built, but customer is always asking to create a Fiori first approach and stuff like that. So here I am today with yet another one complex, difficult situation where we will go and try to understand how we can actually deal with this situation of converting a complex ABAP report to RAP. So let us understand what we are going to build here. Okay. And in our episode, what we will do is we will try to see how we can convert a complex ABAP report that we have already been, understand what are the various ways that we can use to convert, and then we will do a hands-on on creating a sample RAP report with a complex kind of scenario. Now, since I don't have the complex setup for me, I will just show you with whatever I have on SAP BTP account that we can use to create our own kind of complex logic. Okay, I'll try to explain you by giving a live example of how complex the ABAP report can be, and then going ahead and actually creating a sample uh, uh, hands-on on how we can actually convert that particular code into SAP RAP easily. Okay, so let's move on. First, let us understand how complex the report could be. So basically, on the top screen, I am just showing you a report that I have actually built for one of my client, which is very, very complex. Uh, in a bit, I will actually also walk you through the code, how complex this code is. And then I will be actually creating a sample report similar to what it has with whatever we have as a contact information, wherein as you can see it has got the city and the contact as well as its relevant um, addresses in one report itself. These kind of things can be easily achieved if you already have the transaction. Now remember one thing, that we cannot have all the features of SAP ABAP replicated in RAP. I've been getting uh, pings, calls, uh, comments saying that how we can actually convert an Excel file and download it, and then in the first report itself, uh, we should show the data there and then stuff like that. So remember that RAP is a framework. What does it mean? That RAP has its own limitation as well. Not everything can be done in RAP. So you will have to understand and educate the end user accordingly. Okay. So let's understand now what are the various ways previously which SAP has provided for us to actually go and create an entity. And as you might have been working along, we have AMDP procedures, we have table functions, we have scalar functions that we can use. All those things that you see always is implemented by some class and method. As you could see here, some class and method is been created. I'm showing you an example of table function, how you can create by just using my contact table. There, the same structure I want to actually display, and then probably I'm just getting it from uh, uh, AMDP class method. Now, in order for you to actually go and implement the uh, table function or AMDP interface, AMDP marker HDB, not P, should be HDB, must be implemented. And as you can see here, this interface, when it is implemented, we should always go and then actually create a class method for table function, and that method should be actually called in the AMDP marker thing where we use by database function. And for AMDP, we were using by database procedure. For HDB means HANA database, and the language is SQL script. Okay. Now, the important thing that you need to understand here is that we being an ABAPer, we will not be knowing the complete SQL script language. So most of us, we already find it very difficult to actually go and code the AMDP procedures. But nothing to worry, we have other alternatives as well. Now, if you see the AMDP code, generally you will be using a colon to actually to define your variables. All these statement must be actually closed or ended with semicolon, not full period or full stop, as we have been seeing in our ABAP. So there are certain ways of how SQL standard native SQL works. So you should know the native SQL script language in order to create your AMDP procedures or your table functions. Okay. The alternative for this is, again, there is a good news that we can actually use custom entity for our benefit here. Now I've shown you a custom entity. Again, it will be implemented by a class. Now there is no specific method that we define. It's only a class that will implement this custom entity. And the best part of this uh, custom entity class is that it is more ABAP friendly. As you can see, it is marked with ABAP colon and then a class name. So it means it's a ABAP class. You can actually uh, combine the logic of RAP along with your ABAP, and you can achieve all the more complex logic that we have been doing for the normal ALV reports. We can actually utilize for our benefits the uh, custom entity where we have to use it. Now we know that, okay, the model that we are on to go here, I'm just, if you can see, this is a can vote, as you might have seen in my um, transactional app. This was a virtual field, generally not there in the database, but I want to actually show that probably you want to actually display different statuses depending on the data that you are getting and all those more complex logic, the business logic for each data set that can be implemented using the custom entity. Advantage is that you can actually reuse whatever code you already have, okay, and you don't need to worry on the complexity of that thing. You can actually go debug your code, understand where are the changes that you need to build. So by just tweaking a little bit, you can reutilize all the code that you have already been being built for the standard report. Okay. Now, how we can actually go and build is that as part of AMDP and table functions, we have implemented an uh, uh, AMDP HDB marker, right? Here for our custom entity, we should actually implement a interface called IFRAP query provider. Okay, and once we implement this interface, it will give us a select method that we can actually use to fetch the data. Now, how this data will be fetched, as you could have seen here, I'm just using a class get data method by passing whatever I need to pass as my parameter or the importing parameters, and I'm getting the output, and this output is exactly similar to our entity that we are actually trying to go and build, or go and build the RAPO data on. Okay. So with that, let us now get into the system and try and understand how we can actually go and build it. So probably I will be showing you first the complex ABAP report that I have built, and then we will just go and create a simple, uh, not simple, basically understanding that it's a complex report. Sorry guys, I cannot actually show you on the system with all those complex report because I only have a BTP trial account, and with that BTP trial account I will try to make you understand uh, what best we can do there. Okay, so let us now get into the system and see what I have built already. Okay, today I'm going to show you how we can uh, create a complex report. As you can see, I have actually created one complex report. I will show you how it works. So let me show you the coding for that. So what I have done here is that I have actually gone and created a program that will take some of the uh, input parameters as can be seen, company code, fiscal years, payment, and some of the things as given by the functional. But the actual work is actually done here in the fetch data of the class. Okay, and what it does is it checks and gets the standard data first, then it processes it and it does many things. So what happens is if I uh, walk you through this, it is like fetch standard data, then create output. Okay, now in fetch standard data, generally I am just taking all the input parameters, creating and then calling a standard function module to get the standard data, and then processing it with many other different tables, basically for address, for company, for BKPF, BSEG, all those documents. I'm actually going and then creating my data, and finally using that data I will be actually creating my output, and that is what you have been seeing in the output now. In the output, all the, again there is a complex logic that take it from the with item, then from the with item take this the precedence, preceding or subsequent document, get it from BKPF, BSEG. All those things are actually taken care here. Then you see T059Z, all those things, and it is a very complex logic that I have built here. Okay, now if we have these kind of reports where we have to actually build the complex report in RAP, then it is very difficult. So let us now understand how we can actually build a complex report in SAP RAP. For that, let me just show you that I already have a class or maybe a report where we have some logic which is built in, and what it does is it will just basically take all the data that is needed in order for us to actually go and create the output. So let me show you what I have actually created here. Since I don't have again guys the normal ABAP report here on BTP trial, I have created a class again with if OOADT class run that will actually give us the data in our console. Idea is that we will actually have a structure as our output, and that output structure we are getting using a get data method by passing the first name there in my case, and I'm just using a singleton as usual. uh, if you don't want to use it, that's fine. Okay, now in the main program, what I am doing is actually I am going and getting the get data and then just displaying the output. Okay, by just passing on the range for my uh, the values that I want to actually get. I can actually give here something like that. For example, say star RI star, something like that. And I can actually put in one more if I want here, saying that okay, the second record would be to get something that start with MUN star as well. Or I will say, okay, get only for exactly equal to Munir. Okay. Now these things can be passed to our uh, get data method as a range of the first name, and then using that range of the first name, our output will be triggered. And how it will be triggered is, again, I am just taking a weird example here, that take everything from the contact, and from the contact um, uh, get all the if we found the contact, get all the corresponding addresses from the address table. And for each and every contact, if there is an address, then you go and fill in those address in your address columns. If not, then just go with the left outer join corner kind of thing, where we just display uh, the contact detail without a address. Again, you see, if I am just saying, if the age is greater than 18, then can vote is actually marked here. Similarly, if the city is Hyderabad, I am just saying that, okay, is local should be marked as ABAP true. Okay, so let us run this and understand how we can actually get our output. So I'm just running it in our console, okay, by just click here and run as ABAP console or press F9, guys, one and the same thing, and it will give me, you see, the corresponding name, address, name with, if there is an address, it will give me the address detail. You see here, address, city, pin code. If it does not have any address, it will just give me the contact detail. So this is something that I want to now go and create as a complex report. I know it is not that complex, but the one which I have shown you is more complex. Again, the idea is that finally, end of the day, you should get your output created the way you want. Okay, the way you want, the output is created exactly like this. Okay, now for that, how we are going about doing this is that we will just go and start building our uh, entity. Okay, now in this case, entity is the base for any RAP application. So we will start by creating our entity with as a custom entity. Now, how we can go about doing a custom entity, I will show you that as well. So right click on core data service, or you go to right click on your package, new other repository object and data definition. Same thing, guys. We have been doing this for quite a long time now. So let me just go and create a new data definition, CMAKS customer contact, custom entity for contact and thing. Click on next, select your TR, click on next. And now here you will not go with normal entity, but we will go with custom entity, guys. Okay, there is a concept of custom entity here, and you select define custom entity with parameters, say finish. Once this is been uh, created, you will always see a custom entity with parameter, wherein you will have to go and create your key elements. Okay, so let me just quickly create it and get back to you quickly. So here I am again. So we have defined our custom entity, okay, with exactly the same way that we need, and this is the structure of the output that I want to actually display, it is same as what we have in our class as well, as you could see here. Okay, the same kind of uh, class uh, structure that we will be actually filling in, because end of the day we have to use the already existing code here. Now, one important thing that we need to remember with the custom entity is that custom entity will always be created using a query implemented by a notation object model dot query dot implemented by, wherein the system allows you to define a class that is ABAP based. No AMDP, no SQL script. If you know ABAP, still you are good. You can create your RAP for all the complex logic that is been already built in the system. You can easily convert it by just tweaking around some of the things. Okay, guys. So let us now see. So let me create a GMAKS class for custom contact. Okay, so now my class is GMAKSCL custom contact. Okay, as soon as I actually do it, you see here it says this is not found. The class is not found, so it will not activate as of now. What we have to do, we have to just go and create the class exactly like this. So again, come here, right click and do your new class or something. I'm just coming here and saying GMAKS new class. Let me show you how you can do that. So right click, new ABAP class, same class name and custom entity contact fetch data. Now what we have to do here is we have to go and add IF RAP query provider, guys. Okay, this interface has to be implemented. If you don't select it here, no need to worry, you can still go and add at the later stage as well. So uh, let me remove that so that you will know what it is. Remove, how we can add it, because every time I'm just adding it and doing it. And if you forget also, no need to worry. Select it and then say finish. Now once it is been done, a class will be created. Okay, and in your public section, you will have to add an interface IFRAP query provider. Okay, as soon as you add it, you see you will get a warning that you can see here, missing implementation for this select method. Just press Ctrl 1 here, add an implementation, and you are good to go. Okay, let me activate both of them. Everything will be activated. The activation is in progress. Once it is activated, we are good to go with creating our RAP query provider, the select method. Okay, now once we have your query provider, okay, I cannot come and actually weave the data definition, the data here, as in our normal interface. We used to come here, right click, open with the data preview. If you do that, data preview is not available for custom entities, as the pop-up will be shown. So remember that you cannot just right click and see the data. Rather, what you should do is, since we have already implemented this custom entity now, let us now go and actually add our code here. Okay, now how we should write the code, let me just show you that as well. Okay, first thing first is that since we want to actually go and uh, this will be executed using a RAP framework, you remember that this particular method, let me click on F2 there, Control Alt. Okay, if you press F2 here, you will see that it has got an inputting parameter IO request and IO response. Okay, that will actually have everything. It raises query not implemented or query provider, RAP query provider. These two uh, exceptions will be raised. When they will be raised, you can read it here. Should be raised if the provider lacks the ability to fulfill the request and it's currently uh, not in the state of implementation, or for general failure, you can actually use this. Okay, this is how you can go and actually uh, use those importing parameter for our benefit. Now, how we are going to do it is, first let us go and create our, if the IO request, IO request, it has got a method called sorry, a property called is data requested. Okay, if that is equal to ABAP true, then only you should go and fetch your data. Okay, remember that point. Now, first thing that we will have to actually go and do is define some of the filters that we are passing from the RAP framework. Okay, this is what, oh, this is the method. Okay, now once we have this, let us try to understand what is the filter that. So let me just say LT filter is equal to, again, the filter will always be in the request. So IO request dash get filter is the method. Get filter will give me the filter. Okay. And then once that is done, we will have to loop the filter and create our uh, LR first name, right? Because first name is what we will be actually going and creating as our filter criteria. So let me just go and say loop at my LT filter into, again, inline declaration, guys, LT filter and loop. And in this LT filter, I will be going and fetching my creating my range. Okay. Now, how it works is that LT filter will always have something called the range table. Okay. What it is giving, and if is not it, if if is equal to ABAP true, then and if, and it says LT filter is not an internal table because I have actually not got the ranges there. It also has get as ranges. Okay, this is what you will have to use. Drop comparison is not needed, so that's fine. So now this LT data filter, you see it has saying now the exception is there. Okay, because it always gives this exception. So let us actually go control 1 there for quick fix, and you can actually add a raising or surround with try catch. That will actually give me the try catch block added. Okay, now once it is there, LT filter will always have ranges table. Okay, and LS filter dot name and range will be there. Okay, always. So this range will give me exactly whatever data I want to fetch it. So in order to create that, let me just first declare two variables. Okay, and those variables would be my data. LT first thing is output, because I want to actually go and create my output, and that output is CL contact data. It has got a GTT output. Okay, so that's my uh, thing. And where I am getting it is I am getting it here because I have defined that GT output as my public type, as a table type. That is what I am using here. And the second one will be to create my LR first name, for example, to create my the ranges table, and it will be of type range of, oh, sorry, comma here, type range of L GMAKS contact M dash first name. Okay, that is what I am actually using. Okay, now once that is done, what I have to do here is I have to create filter values, value range. How we will be going and creating that value range? We already have a filter value there. Okay, now first we will have to check uh, with a case statement, because if you go with the object page, a different filter will come in. So always check ls filter dash name and case. When it is our first name that is coming in, then only you go and fill your lr first name, and that lr first name as usual would be my value table, value hash loop at. Okay, how we loop is for lwa range in ls filter dash range. What we have to do, we have to build sign is equal to lwa range dash sign. Similarly, option is equal to lwa range dot option. Low is equal to lwa range dot low, and high is equal to lwa range dot high. Okay, that is what I am filling. Now, this will always give me the data which is been passed. What I am planning also is that in order to for me to actually fetch all the data, I will have a probability of passing all in that particular filter, and that will actually give me all the data back. Okay, so that is the reason I want to actually code something here that will actually go and fetch me that data. So for that, let me just go and read the first record, because if it is all, then definitely it will be the first record will have the value all. So I'll say data lv first name filter or whatever it is. Okay, first name, lv first name filter is equal to value, read the first record, ls filter dash range, first record you read, and get the value of low. Okay, optional I'm saying. Then I'm checking if lv first name filter is equal to, let us first convert this to an uppercase, because the user can actually go and do it with any upper lower case. So in that case, let me just quickly go and show you how we can convert it. So again, it's a concatenation ABAP 7.4 syntax, guys. Okay, probably I will start creating ABAP 7.4 syntax soon as well. Maybe that might also be helpful for you, which is nothing but LV first name filter and case is equal to upper here. So this will actually convert my data into uppercase. And now I'm checking if LV first name filter is equal to all, then you don't do anything. okay, then it will be always blank. Otherwise, you fill in our table, the range table, okay? Fill in our range table, and that I don't like it. So let me make it not equal to, and then only you fill it, okay? Once this is been filled, what other thing we have to do? We have to now get the top left and skip and everything like that, okay? The important thing that I am going to actually show you here is that you can also have entity that is been passed is equal to, again, from the IO request, get entity ID. That's the method that we can actually use to get the entity ID. And then here you can use the same RAP class method to actually get the different entity values depending on whatever is actually being requested from the front end. You can have one entity in your PO, or you can have multiple entities in your PO. So always check the entity name is case LV entity. Again, I am checking, and case if my LV entity is what was our entity? ZMAKS first contact. If this is the case, then we will go and call our this class, right? The class contact data to go and fetch the data. Okay. Now, what I am doing is basically I will just go and sometimes it may be filtering also that we need to go and get. So in that case, let me just go and create a first a temporary output table that we have already created here, LT output. We can use that to get my data. Now, how I will be getting is CMAKS CL contact data. It has got a get instance method. Using that get instance method, I will add say get the data. And when I say get the data, it asks me for the range for first name, and that is the first name range that I have created, and it will give me back my output, and that output I'll be storing it in my LT output. Okay, so this is how we can actually go and call. Now, depending on different entities, you can have your code added here for different entities. Go and get it, the data, same code, same logic, same concept. Okay, now once you have already got your data, we have to set this data back to our entity. And how we can do it, already, we already have something called our IO response. So let us now go to IO response, and this will have two things for our setting. One is set data and one is set total number of records. So take total number of records, I will happily say lines of LT output. It will give me the number of lines. Okay, this will be added, and then similarly IO response dash set data will allow me to actually go and set the data. Again, here it has got a try catch block. So we will say try, and IO response data is equal to LT data, LT output and try. Okay. So this is how we can go and actually fill in the set data method. IT data is equal to what is saying LT output is wrong. Oh, misspelled. Okay. And now this data is actually set back. Okay. This is what we will be doing in for this particular thing. Now, how this will go and fetch the data, we will have to actually go and debug and see how it works. For that, what we need to go and do it using this data definition, we have to create a, a service definition on top of it. So let me go and create a service definition. Again, let me show you how you can do it directly. Right click, say create service definition. The service definition is ZMAKS service definition contact. Okay, service definition for custom, service definition for custom contact report, for example. Source type is definition, and I am giving this as my entity. Select the TR, select next, define, and this is all same that we were already been doing, guys. Okay, so it has now created a custom service definition, and I'm just exposing it as custom or contact address as my entity that I am exposing. Let me activate this quickly. And then on top of this, we will just go and create a new service binding. And this service binding again, GMAKS underscore service binding for cus contact service binding. And we are just going and creating a UI v2. Okay, we don't need a normal v4 thing here, no draft, nothing, just a display output thing. So v2 will work here. And now let me just go and create that and say finish. And now we can actually have to go activate this as usual, guys, and then publish it. Once it is published, then we are ready to actually go and utilize this in our Fiori applications. Okay, now let us first test. No, it is not yet us to actually go and do it. Okay, we still have many long way to go. Okay, so once it is published, let us try and understand um, how we can actually go about then redefining it. Okay, so let it publish. Guys, it is taking too long of a time, so I will just stop here, and we will continue in our next episode on how we can actually go about refining our custom entity code in order for us to create that complex report that we already have in ABAP into a RAP framework. With that, please do like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Share it, hit the bell icon, uh, so that I keep creating multiple this kind of complex uh, scenarios, how to actually deal with it. Hope this is actually helping you guys a lot. So please do like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you and happy learning.